Long, long ago, in ancient times, there existed a thing called animations. The pictures painted on the cave walls nearly 20,000 years ago would combine with the flickering of firelight to create the illusion of the pictures moving. In 1833, a disc called a phenakistoscope was created. It would spin to combine two images. This would make it look like they were alternating and make an animation. Later still, in 1908, the first traditional frame-by-frame animation was made, and separate drawings or frames played in a sequence to create movement. This took over the film industry in companies like Disney and Warner Bros. Animation has evolved in many ways over time. But what exactly is an animation? Well, animate means the action of imparting life. So animation means you're making it seem like your drawings are alive. I'm going to show you how I animate in 2D with stop motion animation and finally in 3D. I'm going to start off my 2D animation by drawing my character, and this is going to be the base for editing in the UDoodle app. This app allows me to make frames to animate my character, and each frame becomes a different picture in the animation. Now I've uploaded my picture into UDoodle, and I'm going to use the scissors tool to trace around it. Then I'll tap the screen to bring up a drop-down menu. From here, I'm going to press the trim button, okay? And that's going to cut out the stuff around the green line. Now I'll create another green line and select the cut option from the drop-down menu to remove anything inside of the green line. Once I get the image how I like it, I'm going to circle my wing and select the copy option from the drop-down to add a copy of it to my clipboard. Now I'll tap again and select the paste option, and a locate function automatically pops up, allowing me to adjust and position the wing how I like it. Now I have two identical wings, and I save my image to photos. Then I press the undo button to remove the extra wing and press the paste button again to bring up the original copy. I then reposition the wing into a different orientation than where the first wing was, and I save that image to photos too. Now I'm in easygift.com and I upload my two saved photos, which turn into a GIF by playing in sequence. It's going too fast, so I change it to 40 frames per second, and since I only have two, it has a slight delay where the other 38 frames would be. I'm going to press the save button and download, and then I can use this animated GIF in various programs. Next up is my claymation, which is a stop motion animation. Basically, a stop motion is where you slightly move objects, take a picture, move objects, take a picture. This allows you to manipulate physical objects without getting your hand in the shot. I made this using Play-Doh and the stop motion animation option on my Panasonic camera. Lastly, I'll be showing you my three-dimensional animation. I'm going to open up Paint 3D, which is an application that came with my Windows software on my computer. I'm going to open up the pre-made male bowling model from the 3D library, and I'm going to use the 3D Doodle tube brush to trace the basic shapes that make up the model in order to get a rough shape of a body. Then I'm going to copy and paste it into another application called 3D Builder that I downloaded from the Microsoft Store on my computer, but may already be available on your computer. I'm going to create joints by duplicating the arms and resizing the duplicate, then repositioning them. Then I'll duplicate the duplicate, so I'll have two identical arms. Joints will help my model look like it's actually moving. Next, I'm going to color it using the color picking tool to help me get an idea of how I'm going to color it once I import it into an application called Blender. Then I'll repeat this process on the legs. I'm now making the shoes, and 3D Builder automatically separates the layered shapes that help create your model. The shoes were made of a lot of different shapes from the male bowling model, which I had to put back together. Once I completed one shoe, I attach it to a leg, I duplicate it, and mirror it so the shoes aren't facing the same way. Then I attach the legs to the body of my model. I will also use the hair from the male bowling model. Next, I will adjust my model to be closer to a walking stance, and I'll add hands. I'll continue to fine-tune and make adjustments till he looks like he's walking. After he was placed in a walking pose, I uploaded him into Blender as a .obj so Blender would accept him easier. Once I import him into Blender, he retains his shape but loses all the color, so I'm going to use hex codes to recolor him. Hex codes are numbers and letters that provide you with pinpoint colors. I'll put my model in rendered mode, and then I can select the material properties option and type in codes that correlate with my desired colors. Now I'm going to pose my model into a T-pose, so when I upload him to the Actor Core AccuRig application, it won't take an eternity to load. Once uploaded to AccuRig, it immediately goes to the Body Rig option and points are placed on my model's body that I will adjust. These points tell AccuRig where the joints are so it can generate a skeleton that can be manipulated and animated. And on the hand rig portion, it asks me to say how many fingers he has, and I place 0 since he has none. I'm just gonna use a pre-made animation that comes with the software because it looks really good and realistic. And of course, I have to give credit to the amazing developers of these softwares and provide my references for the places I obtained this information.